question. So what does the next question says? Given a number n, the task is to find out the sum of digits of a number at even and odd places. And then they have given us some number and some output to it. So what they are actually saying, whenever we have a number, we have some digits at the even indexes and some digits at the odd indexes, right? So it is saying whatever is at odd, you just club it at one place and then you can say, okay, this is going to be the sum of odd values. And similarly, you can do it for the even one. I'll be taking you, I will be showing you one example, and with that, I will be actually explaining it to you what they are expecting us out of it. I will be taking the same value, that is n, that is 54873. Okay, so let's get started. So we have 54873. Okay, for now, just forget about rest of the things. If we just have this number, if we have to tell the even and odd places, how we can do? We can give it its indexes like that 1 2 3 4 5. You can say probably indexes start from 0 and all, that we understand, but right now we are not including all those things. We are just including that, okay, if we have a regular number, not including any string concepts, array concepts, anything there, just a regular number. So that is how it is going to be there, right? So what and all are odd positions here? Those are 1, 3 and 5. Correct? What and all are even positions here. So those are going to be 2 and 4. That is how we have these indexes available, right? Now what we'll have to do, we just, in order to find out sum at odd positions, sum of all odd position values, what we will have to do, whatever indexes we have written here, we just need to tell the corresponding value there. So what is the value at index 1? That is 5. What is the value at index 3? That is 8. What is the value at index 5? That is 3. You just, since we have to do the sum, what we will be doing, we are just going to do add. If you will realize, if you are going to add it, what you will get? 16. Correct? Then we have even position. So if you have to do sum of all even position values. Okay, so what is the value at position 2? 4. What is the value at position 4? That is 7. Just to add off that, what you will be getting? 11. Now let's come back to the PPT. Here if you will see, this was the number and that is how you were getting sum of even values and odd values. This is correct, right? As we are trying to get it. So if, I hope by this, the problem statement must be clear to you that, okay, if some number is given to you, how you are going to calculate sum of all the values at odd places and all the values at even places, correct? This is what you will have to consider. Now let's come back there. So one thing which you will have to actually understand here, that is, if we have a number, how we can get the value at indexes? That is going to be a little trickier, right? So what we can do, if you have this number, that is 54873, what you can do, you can just convert it to a string. How you can convert it? Whatever number you have, just apply toString on it. With the help of toString, what is going to happen? It is going to get converted to a string, and after you have a string value, what you can do, you can get the individual values by using string.charAt. So what does this is going to do? Whatever values you are going to put for your I, that is how it is going to work out for you. But there is a catch here. What is the catch? Let me just go to the Visual Studio Code and there I will be showing it to you. Alright. So let us take that same number, that is 54873. Correct? After that, what we will do, like I'm saying, I'm going to convert this number to a string. So how I can do? I'll take it in some variable str and this is going to be number.toString. After converting it to number.toString, what I will do, now we know that is no longer a number, that is just a string. And if I want to print a string, what I can do, I will be running a loop that is going to start from 0 till string length, correct? And then what I will do, I'm just going to print a console statement here. So in this one, what I will be doing, I'm just going to write at index I character, or you can say digit is str.char at I. So what I'm actually doing, simply for now I have taken the number, I converted it to a string, and after converting it to a string, what I'm doing, I'm just iterating over it so that it can actually tell me what and all values are there and at what and all indexes, right? So let me run. Now you can see at index 0 it is giving value 5, at index 1 it is giving value 4, at index 2 it is giving value 8, at index 3 it is giving value 7, at index 4 it is giving value 3. Is it actually working correct? No. How it will work correct? If I'm just going to print I plus 1 here. So if I'm doing I plus 1, then it is working correctly how I expected it to be, like I showed you in the example, because now we know at odd place we have 5, at even place we have 4. So this is how it has to work. So now what we will be doing, some part of the work is done, correct? Now what we will have to do, we just need to segregate all the values based upon even positions and odd positions, right? So what I will do, I'm just going to have one loop here, and that loop is going to be like this. If your I plus 1 mod 2, if that is going to be equal to 0, what does it mean? It is going to take only those values which are at even indexes, right? So if such a case is there, what I will do, I'm going to print this message. Before that, I'm just going to print even. Okay, I'm just building up the solution step by step. Otherwise, we are going to put it into else, and here I'm going to check it against odd values. So now let's run and see how it works. So you can see, firstly, odd position value is there, then even position value, then odd, then even, then odd. It is working absolutely as we wanted it to run. Now what we want all these odd values to get added to one variable and all these even values to get added to one variable. So what I will be doing for that, I'm going to take two variables, sum even and sum odd. The reason I'm actually initializing it to 0 is because any value added to 0 is going to return you the same value, right? So here, instead of doing it, what I will do, whatever value of sum even is there, to that you are going to add the value at string dot character I. Correct? That is how it has to work. And here, instead of doing this, what I will do, I'm going to take some odd, and whatever value, previous value you have, to that you have to add string dot character I. But will it work? Answer is no. Why? Because now we have this string. When we are going to use this plus operator on a string, what that one is going to do, that one is going to return it to you in the form of concatenated string. So it is not going to work correctly. How it is going to return the concatenated strings? Let me just run and show you to you. So sum even, like I'm actually printing it quite similar to how it was given. And then we have odd. Okay, now let's run and see the output. If you will see, it has printed it in the form of concatenated string. That is because we are dealing with strings here. This is going to return you nothing but a string. So even if you're going to use a plus operator, this plus operator is actually going to do the sum of those two values. So what we can do in order to actually get the sum, we can convert it to integer. How we can convert it to integer? We have something like parseInt. If you will be using parseInt, this value is going to get converted to a string. I'm not going to update it for odd for now. I'm just going to run it for even so that I can show you the sum. So now you can see sum of even values is coming as 11, which is working exactly how it has to be. Correct? Now I will be making the same changes here. So I'm going to use parseInt, and here I'm going to pass string dot character I. Now if you will run, you can see it is working exactly how we wanted it to work. For even it is giving sum as 11, for odd it is giving sum as 16. So this is what we were getting right, odd 16, even 11. So I hope this must be clear to you. What and all things we have done? We have taken a number, we converted it to a string. After that, we have taken two variables. One to store sum of all the even positioned values and one to store all the odd positioned values. Then I am iterating it over a loop. In this, instead of directly doing it with I am doing it with I plus 1. That is because by default, the indexes start from 0. With 0, this one is not going to actually justify the positions. How it can do if we are going to use I plus 1. After doing I plus 1, we can actually get even positioned values here. After getting even positioned values, what I am doing, I am concatenating it to the sum even. But I wanted it to be in the form of integer sum. So what I am doing, so as to do that, just I am using parseInt. Similarly, I am doing it for the odd values. And then later on, I am just displaying it here. I hope it must be clear to you. Now we can look into the next question. So the next question says, for a given array, you are supposed to find out maximum of j and I such that a of I is going to be equal to or less than a of j. So you know what we are actually going to do in this case? They are going to provide us some array. And then from that array, we have to find out such a pair that if we are going to use those pairs, we are going to get maximum of ji. How we can do? Now I will be showing it to you. Alright. So let's come here. So in this particular one, what we will actually have to do, we will have to run two loops. Why are we going to run two loops? Because in the one loop, I'm going to check it against all the values of I. In the second one, I'm going to check it against all the values of j. And inside that, what I will be doing, I'm just going to calculate the difference. And then I'm going to keep one variable which is going to store the maximum difference. If I'm going to get a difference which is going to be greater than that, in such a case, I will be just updating the value. So I will be explaining it to you with the help of example as well. So what is the examples which we had? 4, 5, 7, 2. Alright, now they are saying you have to do difference of two values. So what I will do, first of all, I'm going to check against all the values with 4. So what and all combinations do we get from 4? We will be getting 4, 5, 4, 7, 4, 2. Correct? Then I'm going to check it against all the combinations with 5. So it is going to return you 5, 7 and 5, 2. Then I'm going to check it against 7. So it is going to give you a pair 7, 2. Now what I will do from these pairs, I just have to find out the difference and how it is going to be there. That is AJ minus AI. And you know what they are actually expecting us? They are also giving us some condition here, and that condition is nothing but they are saying when you are doing the j of I, you will have to ensure that your a of I is less than or equal to a of j. So what is that condition? They are saying your a of I should be less than or equal to a of j. Then only you have to find out the difference of j and I. Correct? So in this case, if you are going to do it for these values, since you know a of I is actually less than this. So if you have to find out the difference, what you will be getting in such a case, you are going to get difference as 1. And if you have to tell it on the basis of indexes, what is the difference which is going to be there? It is going to be 1. Correct? Then we have to check for 4 and 7. So here if you will see, your A of I is less than A of j. If that is the scenario, what we will do, we can actually find out the difference between the two. So here if we are going to find out the difference between the two, but what we are going to get, we are going to get 3. And if we'll have to check it for its indexes, what we are going to get, 0 minus 2, that is going to return you 2. Then we have 4 and 2. Can we do it on this? Answer is no. Why? Because this one is not in accordance with this condition. Correct? Then we have 5 and 7. With 5 and 7, what we will do? We are just going to check for the like that condition. Here A of I is actually less than A of j. If that is the condition, what we will do, we are just going to go ahead with the subtraction. If we are just subtracting these two values, we will get 2. If we are subtracting its indexes, what we are going to get, 1. Then we have 5 and 2. Can we apply it there? No. Then next one we have 7 and 2. Can we apply it there? No. Because A of I in these three cases are actually not in accordance with the equation which is given to us. So if you will observe, we were actually interested into finding out j minus I. That means these values, and out of these values we have to return the value which is maximum. So here what is the maximum value? 2. So in the output, what we can say, output is going to be 2. How we are getting it? Just take two values, and how we can take these two values. So like I said, we are going to do it by using two loops. So what those two loops are going to do, in the one loop I'm going to get this value 4, in the second loop I'm going to get this value 5. After getting these two values, what should be my first approach? My first approach should be just check if this condition is satisfied or not. If this condition is satisfied, then I'll have to find out the difference. After finding out the difference, I just have to compare it if I'm going to find out something which is going to be bigger than that or not. Okay, so let's go to the Visual Studio and write down code for the same. So here I'll take the same set of values. It was 4, 5, 7, 2. 4, 5, 7, 2. After having these set of values, what should be the first thing which we will have to do? We'll have to take two loops, right? So it is going to be I up to array length, and this one, the inner loop, that one is actually going to start with I plus 1. Why with I plus 1? Because with the same number we are not checking out the sum difference. We are going to check it against the next value, right? So because even if we are going to consider it, their index difference is anyway going to be 0, and we are considering the maximum index, so that is not going to serve our purpose anyway. Now what we will be doing, we need to have the one variable, that one we'll define here, and that is going to be max difference, max index difference, so that it can actually be justifiable. And I told you, whenever we have to find out anything maximum, we will have to initialize it, and when we have to initialize it, to what value we will do? To the minimum value. And this you always have to remember. If you have to find out any maximum difference or like some max value you are looking at, always initialize it to minimum value, and later on you just have to do the comparison that which one is going to be lesser value. So here what you will have to do, firstly you just have to check if your array I is less than or equal to array of j. If that condition is satisfied, what you will be doing, you just have to check for the maximum index difference. And how you can do this one is actually going to take the value math.max, and from where it is going to do, firstly it is going to take this first variable, and second one is going to be j minus I. So from this, what it is going to do, it is just going to check whatever difference value we are going to get here, and then it is going to check it against j and I. That is how we are going to update our max index difference. And later on, what you will have to do, just print it out. I'll actually do the dry run if you are not able to understand. But this is how you can see output is coming as 1. Now let me do the dry run for the for this. So what we are doing, if the given array is 4, 5, 7, 2, from this array, what we will have to do, firstly you have to find out the max index difference. So this is going to have some minimum value. For now, I'm just going to take some random value, probably like minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually do not know the minimum value, what that exact value is going to be there. Then what we are doing, we are entering inside this loop. So initially your I is 0. And here if you will check, this is how the indexes are going to be there. Correct? If your I is 0, your j has to be 0 plus 1, that is 1. Correct? After having that, what we are actually dealing with, we are dealing with these two values. So what I am saying you have to pick, like in the max index difference, what you will have to do, you have to take the max value out of max index difference, and then next is going to be j minus I. Okay, so here what is the max index difference? If I am taking it as minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and what is j minus I is going to return? That is going to return 1 minus 0. That is nothing but 1. So out of this, what is the maximum value? 1. Correct? So from first iteration, and also like, yeah, we forgot to check that condition, but that is going to get satisfied, that here array of I is actually less than or equal to array of j. Correct? Now what we will do, we are just going to increment it. So I is going to remain 0, j is going to become 2. When we are checking that condition, first of all, just check against these two values. So what is the value at index 0? That is 4. What is the value at index 2? That is 7. It is satisfying this condition, right? If it satisfies what we have to do, we have to find out the max index difference. So max index difference is max of whatever the previous max index difference value is there, that is 1, and j minus I. So here your j is 2, I is 0. So that is going to return you 2. So from here you have to return 2 value. Correct? Then your I is going to remain same, j is going to update. When we are updating it, first of all, what we will have to do, we just need to check your value at index 0 and your value at index 3. So at 0 what we have 4. At index 3 what we have 2. Is it actually satisfying this condition? No. So we are not going to test it against these two values. After that, can we actually run it? No, because we have reached till end of the length. Then similarly you are going to try it out with 5. And then you are actually going to see that after this, or you know what I will do, I'll take one more example. Okay, now from here I will actually take it against another set of values. So your I is 1 now, and your j is going to start from I plus 1, that is 2. Now you have to check it against these two values. So it is firstly it is satisfying this condition. When it satisfies this condition, what is the second thing which you have to do? Find out the max index difference. So that is going to be max of whatever the previous difference is there, 2 minus 1. So even though it is going to return you value 2, then what we will do, we are going to update it to another set of values, that is I is 1, j is going to become 3. So 1 is this, 3 is this. Is this satisfying this condition? No. So we are not going to move ahead. Then we will be updating our values. So now your I is going to be 2 and j is going to be 3. That is 7 and 2. It is in accordance with the I and j relationship? No. So we are not going to move ahead. That is how later on we can conclude that the maximum index difference has to be 2 only. I hope I was able to